So let's talk about this. So have you ever walked into a venue, seen the people that are there, and thought to yourself, oh, hell, this is going to be terrible? Or you go in there and people are wild. You're like, oh, I know what kind of night it's going to be. And then it just be the complete opposite. Well, that's what happened to me this past weekend. And it's been happening to me kind of recently. I thought I knew these crowds. I did. I thought I knew the crowd. I can pick out a fire crowd. I can pick out these crowds that's just going to entertain. And I can still do it pretty well. But sometimes I'm a little blown away. Okay. So the video, the gig log that just came out and stuff this week, I mean, it had a lot of people. So, you figure that you're going to have at least 75 to 100 people because she had close to 300 guests. The video you'll see coming up on Monday, it was more like 170, 150, 160, somewhere around that. And it was a lot of participation. But like this past Saturday, when I said I only had 75 or 60 people and stuff like that, like in my mind, I had the expectation of they may dance a little bit, but we're not, we're probably not going to be here the whole time. And I even told the other vendors and stuff, they were like, you think you can get them dancing and stuff tonight? I was like, I hope so. I'm going to kind of cater more to the older crowd and just see what that does. And then throw in her 2000s pop and just see what that does. And we could see if we can make a night out of it. And they stayed, everybody. I think I only may have had maybe 2 to 3 couples leave, but everybody pretty much stayed. Like when she did her send off and everything, she pretty much had everybody that attended the wedding to do her send off. And that is an achievement based on what I thought was going to happen. But I think that when we see these crowds, I think going into it, we have to change our mentality going into it. I think when we see certain age groups and stuff that are dominating that, we need to be looking to see if there are other age groups that can help us out. Good example. This was, she had an older crowd. So cater the music more to older people for a little bit longer. Like on average, I usually cater my music for older for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I don't know why that's become a thing like that, and I probably need to do it for a little bit longer, maybe even a solid hour. But usually about 30 to 45, the first 30 to 45 minutes, I'll give the older crowd that. But sometimes you could just kind of see the antsiness in the 35 and below. And they're just kind of like, all right, where's the stuff? And then you start getting questions like, this is great, but where's the stuff? And, you just kind of tell them, just be patient. I'm trying to get out of this whole cycle where I feel like I only can hit certain people. So what I've started incorporating that has been working, and I would like to just pass this on. And some of you guys may already be doing this. And if you are, kudos to you. You're ahead of the game. But this is what I'm talking about when I say about change and stuff. Once I learn it, I want to make a change. When I was taught how to do weddings, I was taught you hit old, then you bring them up to current. And that has been the philosophy that I have kept pretty much my entire DJ career. It wasn't until recently when I started incorporating old and new in the beginning. It wasn't until recently. I'll probably say within the last year and a half, I've been testing it. And when I say old new, I mean like a get low in the first set. Now, in some areas, that's a no-no. In some areas, it's an absolute no-no. But sometimes people kind of get that. If you can jump back and forth and make it sound great, if you've got Dancing Queen over Get Low's beat, you are tackling two people, two groups at the same time. If you can tackle, staying alive with It Wasn't Me, and let that drop together. I mean, like, you can marry it in that way. You don't have to play the full song and stuff of it, but you can marry it in that way. You can make the younger crowd happy and the older crowd happy. Like, I was a little worried with some of the versions of songs I had for the older crowd, because one thing I don't like to do is play original versions of songs. Like, I will play them, I have them, but I don't like to play them. Because it's like, ma'am, how many times have you heard Ain't No Mountain High Enough? Like, come on, ma'am. Like, but wouldn't you rather hear it if I could mix it up? Like, what if you could hear Ain't No Mountain High Enough, but you heard Boogie Shoes behind it? Wouldn't that give you a fresh take on it? Isn't that something you've never heard before? Like, I'm just trying to give a fresh spin and stuff on it to make it to where people are engaged. That's one of the things I saw from this past Saturday. A lot of my older crowd was more engaged with the younger crowd because I was mixing old and new. And I was just jumping back and forth. And it was giving them a sense of, okay. Okay, that was nice right there. Like, people are actually listening to your transitions to hear what's going to happen and stuff next. That's why I say, when you build these expectations about people, you almost got to make them come along with you. It's almost like you got to force their hand, especially if they're willing to get up and dance. You just got to keep them up there. So you just got to be creative in how you keep them up there. You can't play whole songs because the older crowd doesn't like to dance for more than 3 songs at a time, maybe even only 2 songs at a time. But if you can be creative and keep them out there for 2 songs and then get the younger crowd to come out there while they're out there, it encourages them to keep dancing if they still are in tune with what you're doing. I know that sounds crazy, or that may be all over the place, but that's how my mind works. That's how my brain was thinking when I was mixing the music and everything. I was just trying some stuff out, some stuff that I would hope that works. And especially with 2000s pop. I hadn't played 2000s pop in quite some time. And to bring some of that stuff back and mix some stuff over, like, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. I've got some stuff that I'm encouraged to show you guys so you could see, utilize it to the best of your ability. You do whatever you would like with it. But it was great to do something different. So I encourage you to just change your mindset and stuff a little bit, walking in to some of these venues, seeing crowds, because, couples will always tell you, yeah, I've got a dancing crowd. And then you go out there and it is a straight dud. Or the couples tell you, oh man, my friends are very conservative. Then they get out there and they're just wild and crazy, shirts off, swinging it in the air like crazy. Like, you got to take your own expectation and know that you have the ability to control the room and just take control and stuff of it. Because like I said, nobody remembers anything but the reception. Yeah, the pictures were beautiful, but they're not reminded of the pictures until they're reposted on social media. But one thing you do remember is what kind of time you had at the party. Leave me a comment and stuff down below. If you agree, let me know.